Two women, one closet. Yeah, we're laughing while we live it. We got stories, we got wisdom. Some things we probably shouldn't admit yet. Hey, hey. Come on in, there's always room. Pull up a shelf, adjust your mood. We're talking life, we're talking soul. From clutter to cosmic truths untold. It's two in the closet. Zero shame and lots of sass. Get comfy, girl, 'cause we're diving into the good stuff. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Last week, we talked about feeling overwhelmed and how when everything piles up, little things hit harder than they normally would. So today, we're going to continue that conversation by talking about something that often shows up when we're overwhelmed, taking things personally.
What,
How to-
me?
Yes, you, and how to stop that cycle. So I'm Jen.
I'm Beth, and this is
Two
Two
in the Closet. I
felt like I was sounding it out.
I know I forgot where I was for
No.
a second.
I did too,
It's weird.
because we're just recording. We're just back from a
And
break.
we're really comfortable in the closet.
Yeah. So today we're talking about taking things personally and how to stop.
You know, this is basically the silent killer of peace, confidence, and relationships. And for us, women over 50, we carry old patterns. I mean, everyone does, but
We've got 50 years of it.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the hormones going, blah, blah, blah. That's another issue. But this is why I wanted to do this episode, because this has been such an old pattern with me.
hmm
Like, since I've been a little girl and continually learn till this day, even not to take things personally.
Right.
But
right.
it's, as we know, it's not that easy. So I have to say about taking things personally really affects mostly yourself, not
Mhm.
everyone else. It goes
Right.
back to you.
Right.
And I think it's important to know that it's not always personal. It feels shitty when you
Mhm.
feel that way. So I thought this was a great episode to talk about and get some tools,
Yeah.
because I certainly learn every day from it.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
Beth, can you think of a recent moment where something hit you personally, even though it probably wasn't about you?
I can. And I'm going to preface this by saying I do a lot of work stopping the taking something personal. Like I know what it feels like in my body when I feel like I'm about to take something personal, and I have the ability and the choice to stop and ask a question, right? And that can turn that off. So with that being said, you've heard me talk about like text messages, not people not responding in 10 seconds
Yes.
or less,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. Don't take that personal.
Yes.
There is one area of text messaging where I did recently find myself taking it personal, and that was an open-ended thread about plans,
Mhm, mhm.
and it was, I'll get back to you, and then never did, because
Okay.
I felt like, okay, you've said you'll get back to me. I shouldn't have to prompt you again. You should figure it out and be able to tell me in a decent, respectable
so
amount of
you
time.
took that personally.
I did take it personal. So what do I know about that situation? I know it probably 100% wasn't personal.
Right.
It was just,
But it felt this.
but it was somebody else's life getting in the way of us having a clear, complete communication.
Right.
So
That's why I
Yeah.
think sometimes text is not the best, but it's sometimes so easy. So
It
I
is.
hear you.
It is,
Yeah.
because you can just shoot right back, right?
Right.
But when I see red and no response,
You get
yeah, I'm like, you read it, like finish the conversation.
when that happens, you said you felt something on your body. What happens in your body?
Well, it's a,
Like you said before, you kind of know, like what.
yeah, it's kind of like a pang, It's like, it's just, and it's like a shock. It's
Right.
not a lingering feeling. at least not anymore, but it's enough to get my attention. I think that's what it is. It's just to get my attention
Get your
and say,
attention.
oh, what's the truth about what's
Right,
happening
right,
right now?
right,
Could it possibly be 100 million other things, right?
right, which it probably is. So
Yeah.
for me, I had a moment where my daughter's friend was coming over and her mom was dropping the friend off, who I'm friendly with the mom. And Jillian told me that her friend was coming over, and I'm like, oh, who's, dropping her off? She's like, her mom. And I heard the car door. Right when I heard the car door
Hmm.
close, I started like getting really upset. Like I started like my body started getting really like warm. Um, like getting instantly like, why didn't she want to say hi? Why didn't she come in? Why didn't she give me warning she was coming? Why didn't she let me know?
Yeah.
I went into this like frenzy and made it all up in my head
Hmm.
and took it totally personally. I took it from here and it needed to stay here,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
wasn't about me.
Yeah.
She was in a hurry. She was dropping the kid off. Like it's not a big
Yeah.
deal. But
Right.
I really got triggered. Like I physically felt like a wound became this like I don't know. Again, I felt frozen and
That's why you asked me what I felt like.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So a wound, like a gaping, hemorrhaging wound? What kind of wound?
well, I
Or is it more like a sharp dagger or something?
it used to, this is interesting. It feels deep, but not as deep as it used to
I get
because
it.
I've
I
been
get
working
that.
on it,
Yeah.
which thank you.
Mhm.
I've really been trying, but um it wasn't even about me. And I went to such this place that
Yeah.
you could get into it made me really uncomfortable. And I actually felt like a little kid again back when I used to feel, and that's where the trauma comes in.
Ah.
So
Ah.
yes, it's a definitely a ha-ha moment again.
Another haha.
Yeah. It's weird. I didn't even notice I do that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do. Um, Most people think taking things or taking things personally, yeah, is about being sensitive. That's not it. It's actually our brain and our nervous system trying to protect us from rejection. It kind of goes hand in hand with the don't start. Better to not start than to start and be disappointed by
Right.
yourself, right?
Right.
Rejection. So this is much more than just being sensitive,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
This is about how your nervous system and brain got here. Like every one of us got to this point in time in our own unique way. We have had our own trauma and our own trauma
Right.
responses and pattern recognition and all
Right.
that stuff. So it's not about being too sensitive.
Right.
It's about this system trying to protect.
Right. Right. Like like comments like you're quiet today. You
Yeah,
didn't do that right. You're too much. Calm down.
right, right.
It's like can feel huge because the nervous system is shouting you're unsafe
Mm-hmm.
and you might be rejected and defend yourself immediately.
Right, right. So that kind of goes along the fight or flight and freeze,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
All
Right.
intertwined. So being told you're too much, like
Oh,
I think
that drives me
every
crazy.
woman worth her value that I know,
Right.
which is all of them, uh, have been told that we're too
Yep.
much. And
I don't like that.
I think um, that can trigger a lot. It
Oh,
not just your worthiness,
100%.
but like every part of who you are as a human being, right? So the triggers, like there's a lot. One statement could cover a
You
lot.
go into a whole frenzy.
Yeah.
Confidence goes down. You feel not worthy.
Yeah, but I think recognizing those triggers, um, in a safe space without judgment for yourself
Yes.
will help you recognize them faster and faster, right?
Right. So most personal triggers come from three things: unhealed shame, old wounds, and identity attachment.
Yeah.
So I think I take things personally because I have an old wound. I always thought people were mad at me when I was younger. Oh my God, it would drive my mom crazy. She's mad at me. She's mad at me. Oh my God, she's mad at me. It was like, I think it all started when I think I was in the fourth grade or the fifth grade, that I wasn't in like the popular group. And there was these really mean girls that used to like at recess, like go all stand in a huddle, and they made fun of me. And I remember crying a lot at lunch. I think I talked to the counselor. And then I went home crying. And it's like
Yeah.
I wanted to be friends with these three girls so bad. Like it was so important for me to be friends with them. Um, I was friends with one of them, but in a secret, which
Oh,
was really
wow.
weird. Yeah, because she didn't want the others to know. I didn't smell or anything. It's just, I don't know. They were mean girls. And I think that's how it started, taking things personal, like feeling left out and not
Yeah.
involved.
In a very formative time in your life
Yes,
when
yes,
you're very susceptible, when
mhm,
you're trying to find who you are,
right,
and you're growing into young womanhood and all of that. Um, Something can hit a lot harder during that time in life than
right.
say, you're 25, right? So,
Exactly, exactly.
yeah.
And I think that led into I felt left out at birthday parties if I wasn't invited. And I think that really carried throughout
Yeah.
my whole life.
Yeah. Your formative years
Yes,
and beyond. I'm
yes.
trying to go back and okay, there we go. I had a thought
Oh,
and
I
it was
love to
you
hear.
love my
I
thoughts.
love your
I just
thoughts.
wanted to make sure that I remembered the triggers because I
Yes.
really want to like lock that in. Um, so unhealed shame, old
Old
wounds, we
wounds.
talked about identity attachment. Identity attachment, what is that? That's I am the mother of, I am the wife of, I am the partner of, I am
The
the
boss
person
of,
of, yeah, in this
I'm
position.
in charge of.
Yeah, all of those are identity attachment. And what happens if you are no longer that? What if you are no longer that person's spouse?
Who would you
Who are
be?
you?
Right.
Who are you without your employment, your job title?
This
Like
is
who are you? Because if that job goes away or changes, who are you?
right.
I had a very deep conversation years ago with a friend who had lost his job in a field that he loves. But he went through this huge identity
Like
crisis.
who am
Like,
I? What?
if I don't do that, I can't just pivot and do
Right.
something
Right.
else. Um, so I think, you know, paying attention to those triggers, um, and seeing where they show up in my life definitely is a part of the healing, just the acknowledgement of it without judgment. So I have seen all three of those
Okay.
show up just as you have, right?
Right. Right.
Um, but here's the ego's math in all of this.
Gotta
And
work
it's
my ego into it.
yes, of course, it's always wrong. Its calculation says someone who behaves badly
Hmm.
plus my value means I must be the problem. So that's the ego just, coming at us. It's
Coming
like
at you.
it's your fault. It's your fault,
I
right?
must be the problem.
Yeah. So someone ignores your text, ego translates to I'm being rejected, I'm not important, I'm too much, I'm not lovable,
Oh,
right? So I'm the problem,
right.
right? And the reality, come on now, come on. Even I knew this when I felt the trigger. I knew,
Right.
right?
It wasn't.
They might be distracted, they
Right.
might be overwhelmed, or just bad at communication in that moment. But the ego always says, nope, definitely you,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Can you think of a time your ego jumped to conclusions like that?
Yeah, well, yeah, that I've had in my olden days in a relationship when the guy didn't text me back fast enough, and I was certain that he was going to a Prince concert with somebody other than me, and we were both huge fans.
I'm sorry.
And so that led me to believe that he thought more of that woman than he did me, and now he's going to break up with me. So
Well, you have a whole story in your head.
yeah, and I remember going over to my next door neighbor's house and being riddled with anxiety, like almost hyperventilating, because I was like, I love him, and he's just, I know he's out with somebody else, and he's at the Prince concert. Like he said, he had dropped some kind of clue, but then the reality of it is the next day when I asked how his evening was, because I didn't hear from him, he said, so and so invited me at the last minute. She had an extra ticket to the Prince concert. And I went, and we have to go. It was like, it's nothing.
There was nothing there,
But
but you took it to a
But
different
that's the
level.
old me.
Right.
That's the old me.
You
Now,
definitely would not do that now.
no. So now I keep my ego in better check than I did back then. So, but what taking it personally actually does for us, to us, I should say, it's not just the emotional part.
No.
It's physiological. So a lot of things happen in the body. Your cortisol spikes, your adrenaline rises, your digestion gets disrupted. Nobody likes a disrupted digestion system.
No.
Your sleep suffers, and inflammation, the causer of so many diseases,
Yes.
increases.
And also I have to say, I don't know about you, Beth, but what I suffer when I am going to that place of taking things personal, I cannot sleep because I'm thinking
That's
all night about
sleep
what's-
suffers.
Right, but
Yeah.
that's one thing.
Yeah.
And
Thankfully I don't do that.
well, that's good. And then emotionally, it triggers resentment.
Mhm.
We don't want to have any resentment. Passive aggression.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
Over-
can do that
Yeah.
really well.
Over explaining,
Mhm.
people pleasing, which I am known
Me
for,
too. I've done it.
and burnout, which I recently
Yeah.
went through.
And spiritually, it disconnects us from our inner authority.
Oh.
We've stopped, right?
Yeah. Do you notice the effect it has in your body or emotions when you take things personally? Like, what does it specifically do for you?
It definitely feels a tightening. It doesn't feel comfortable. I don't feel
Right.
like I don't feel like air is really coming in and out fully. I'm either constricting how I breathe, right? And tensing muscles. And that's not like a prolonged thing, but it's like when it's like a bolt. It's like a bolt of lightning. And it's like, ugh, I'm taking that personally. The initial part of it,
Right.
So I definitely feel it.
Mhm.
And I feel it simultaneously with the thought coming through.
Yep, it's
right.
both whammy. I definitely notice it physically. I get like a pit in my chest. It always kind of goes to my chest, and it's almost like anxiety.
hmm
And I'm like, oh my God, I did something wrong. No, what if they're mad at me and my heart starts racing. It's like I'm doing it myself.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's
You're
like I
whipping,
can't, right.
you're whipping yourself into a frenzy.
Right. And then I start getting, more quiet and I go more into the mode and emotions. My emotions completely take over. I feel like I'm stuck and I can't enjoy if I'm doing something else with someone and something else is going on, I can't enjoy.
I have seen that.
Yes.
Yes.
And I cannot separate the two. But I have worked on it and I definitely feel like I'm moving toward, working that out. We all have our moments. It's just kind of learning through it,
We all have those imaginary conversations, don't we?
Yes, we do. We do.
Not just I should have said this, but then the actual conversation that you have in your head with the perpetrator of the trigger or whatever you want to call that person.
Right.
But we've all resolved the whole thing in our head or got back at them or got the dig
Yes.
in,
Yeah.
whatever, right? So it's, that's being human.
Right. And this is a key point. Taking something personal.
Is not the same as being perceptive,
No.
right?
No. I think sometimes what we call intuition is actually hyper vigilant
Mm-hmm.
trauma pattern recognition,
Mhm.
which we just talked about this earlier. If you, like my brother, threw a hot cheese sandwich in my face, and
When you were little, not
yeah,
recently, right?
no, not recently. Sorry, I should. Um, like I don't know, I was like 7, 8, maybe I was 10 or 11. I don't remember, but I used to not order grilled cheese at restaurants because the
Yeah.
plate I just
Especially if you're like at a diner in New York where, they're really rough and like,
yes I
here's your, cheddar cheese.
right.
Yeah.
Or if you go to a busy restaurant and they
Yeah.
kind of get
Slinging food.
right. So
Yeah.
it definitely triggered. It definitely would.
Well, your cholesterol probably thanks you,
Right. Exactly.
so
Exactly.
yeah.
So that's what the trauma pattern recognition
Yeah.
is.
None of this is spiritual guidance, hypervigilance,
No, it's
that's always on alert. What is that doing to your nervous system? Just think of how it's aging you
yeah.
prematurely, right?
Like I was on an important phone call and told everyone not to disturb me, right, in
Mhm.
the family, and sure enough, I got interrupted. And immediately I thought, I'm not respected. I'm not heard. They heard I was on a phone call. Um, and I started
So
fuming.
trauma pattern recognition there, right?
Yeah,
They never pay attention when I tell them I
right,
need to be alone.
right. Like, give me a fucking second.
Yeah.
Excuse me for my language, but give me a fucking minute, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Or 5. Come on now.
I realized I paused for a second because I really got upset. It wasn't about me. It was important that I was being interrupted.
Mhm.
So, but I went to such a place that it turned into like a frenzy.
Nuclear
Yeah.
meltdown.
Which it didn't need to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the beginning of the healing, right? Becoming aware of it. So, out of the 3 things we talked about, hypervigilance, trauma pattern recognition, and nervous system scanning, which would you say that experience was?
Maybe nervous system scanning.
I kind of feel like that too. At first, I thought it was trauma
Yeah, I
pattern,
did too.
but you instantly thought and felt disrespected and not heard.
It's like my nervous system was
But that was you scanning
right,
your nervous
right,
system, I feel
right,
like.
because it was already on
Yeah.
alert right when the door opened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Have you ever missed intuition versus nervous system signals like that?
Um, I'm sure I have a lot because before I became aware of the importance of regulation and how it affects taking things personally, as just one of many,
Right.
I definitely have had times in the past where I misread. I mean, the example I used about the Prince concert, like I really told a fabulous story
Right. Yeah.
that wasn't true. So I wouldn't do that today. Like we said, I wouldn't do that today because I have more control over my thoughts.
Yeah. And I think, I don't mean to bring this up again, but remember the concert with you and Lisa? I don't think I would have felt that way now.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think you would either.
No, no.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about me.
Right.
So
right.
I'm trying to, you separate it and then
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah. So the healing is in the reframing, right?
Right.
Yes, the thing happened. Yes, I took it personally, but how do I change my way of thinking and start to reframe experiences like this? How can I get my power back? Because right now I'm giving my power to this incorrect thought that is floating in my head, living rent free, right?
Disturbing.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah. So regaining your power. So what did they do? Just the facts. Take the emotion out of it. What did they do?
That's key.
Yeah.
taken out of it.
Okay, what happened? I was interrupted,
Right.
or friend left conversation hanging.
Right.
What else could it mean? And then let your mind go wild, because I can think of 100 things probably off the top of my head about why somebody wouldn't get back to me in a text,
Right. Right.
including the death of a loved one, for Pete's sake,
Right.
like you're not so all powered important in everybody's life,
Right.
Beth, right? So, in the case of being ignored, it could be that your daughter came in and interrupted you because she was having a meltdown of her own,
Right.
and needed her mommy,
Right.
like,
exactly. It's
right?
not always about me.
It's not about you,
Right.
right? So, what else could it mean? What meaning am I giving it? Am I giving it, they hate me, they're angry at me, they disrespect me, right? But again, what else could it possibly mean? You
Right.
selfish bitch.
Right. Exactly.
Self-centered,
They
narcissistic
could be
woman.
stressed. They could have their own,
Yeah,
shit going
yeah.
on. What would your alternative explanation be for the recent trigger?
Well, just like what I said, like family matters. Um,
Right. You
sometimes I think we've all done this. We've typed a text and forget to hit send.
Yes, I actually did that the other day.
I did it too.
Yeah.
And then the next day I open up to text that same person and there's the message that I never sent.
Yeah.
Now they're probably triggered doing their own process because they
Right.
think I don't think enough of them to respond in a time that,
Right. Right.
how stupid is all that?
Yeah,
So,
it's
but yeah, so that is, the most current one. I mean, it's so simple.
it's so simple, but yet so
You gotta make it a practice
Right.
to stop taking
Right.
it
So,
personally.
how do you stop taking it personally without hardening or being a bee?
A
Well,
bee.
yeah. We'll name the trigger. Oh, that hit my rejection. Well,
Yeah, abandonment.
Right.
Yeah.
Pause before responding. Even 5-second helps.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to do that because if I don't, it ends up being a little
No.
not making sense.
Choose your identity. This is important. Ask, who am I being right now?
I like that one.
The wounded self, the sovereign self? Like, really get clear on who you're showing up as right now.
I like that.
That's going to help shift out of it.
I like that.
And then respond from self-respect, not self-defense. Again, you're being careful of this thing that you're working with. So you do not want to attack it.
Right.
Which is you.
Right.
So give it care, especially if you're coming from the wounded self in that moment, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
sometimes, I physically step away, go for a drive, take a walk, take a bath. And I do even stop at Target occasionally and the Dollar Tree just to clear my head.
I got to stop you right there.
All right.
Okay.
What do you have to say on this?
Well, the bath is lovely. The taking 5 minutes is lovely. You're trying to regulate your nervous system, right?
Mhm.
Part of this whole process
Yeah.
is regulating your nervous system so that this trigger doesn't hold
Right.
dominance in your existence, right? So you're going to a place where there's a shit ton of fluorescent lighting and noise, cacophony, one of my favorite words, cacophony of
What is that?
noise. It's like just a cackle of just noises coming from every direction, right? In a Target. And then you're going to go down, up and down the aisles, seeing things that you want, but maybe you can't afford,
Mhm.
adding a little layer of shame and anxiety,
That's interesting.
further affecting your nervous system that you're
Right.
here to regulate,
Right.
right? And then let's say you grab a couple of things that you need, and then you have to stand in this line to check out. and everybody in front of you has some issue with their card or their identification or whatever it
Right,
is. It
something.
takes you forever to get your $10 worth of stuff out, right?
Right.
So now you're starting to feel a little annoyed.
Yep.
Again, we're in the fluorescent
Right.
warehouse store to lower our cortisol and to regulate our nervous system. Anybody see a challenge with
Well,
that?
I have to say,
But don't you see how all of that?
I do have to say, hearing it out loud, it kind of makes more sense, but the lights are very annoying. That's
They're
not peaceful.
they're
peaceful.
not good
Like
to be.
Costco,
Yeah,
I get
they're.
very nauseated and anxiety.
It's not good
in
to be in fluorescent
right.
lighting, period. But the opposite side of that is even if you have a small patch of walkway that is grass up to your front door,
That's even
go
worse.
take your shoes off and go stand in it. Or if you want to do more, find a park and walk through it barefoot, sit
Yeah.
on the grass. Like that will regulate your nervous system so
Yeah.
fast.
And you know what I also do is I sometimes go to the park and sit in my car.
Get out.
Well, sometimes I do, but sometimes I just sit there and I look out at the lake and it's just very, very peaceful.
But I would encourage you to get out and get a little closer to that water because the nature part is the stuff that brings down those.
Yeah. I'm gonna I think start walking the lake. Well,
Yeah.
first I'll put my shoes on and see where it
Yeah.
takes me.
But yeah, I wouldn't. I don't love Target for you as a way to
Yeah,
regulate.
I'm gonna thank you for that suggestions. I'm gonna take you up on it and I'll let you know what happens. So how do you reset when something hits you hard?
Well, I think practice. That's the short answer. Having a spiritual practice
Mhm.
and becoming more confident and more aware of who I am. I know more and more my own sovereignty and my own power. And so things like those things that used to trigger me
Don't
they
trigger
don't
you.
have that effect any longer because I have a spiritual maturity to recognize a thing and almost simultaneously understand that it could mean more than one
Right.
or 100 things.
Right.
Right. So the short answer is, I have a practice. I have a practice that assists in that. So a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, less, more trigger, less
Right.
resolution.
Well, I think as we grow, we grow
Yeah.
as people and we get older, we kind of sometimes we start healing and realizing.
Well, I don't think it happens automatically.
No, definitely not.
It's an intentional choice. Okay. So we have a 7-day
Yes.
listener challenge
Yes.
/ practice. It's called a 7-day Not About Me challenge. Tell us what we're going to do.
Okay. Number 1, you're going to write the fact.
Just the fact.
Just the fact. Then you're going to write the story you're assigning
to the story.
to the story.
The story you're assigning to the story.
Yeah.
That's funny. To the event, I
Yes,
guess. To
thank
the
you.
event,
Thank
right?
you. And write 2 alternative explanations.
Mm-hmm.
And you end with, I release the need to personalize this.
Oh, that's good. That is so simple, but that's like a boop, mic drop.
I know. So those are things that you can do.
Yes.
Noticing the difference between fact and story helps maintain peace within and makes you almost present.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us today. Remember, it's rarely personal, even when it feels personal.
Right.
Practice pausing, reflecting, and choosing your response. We are going to list a couple of books. We should have talked about that, but too late. Wayne Dyer, Your Erroneous Zones changed my life in the 10th grade. Don Miguel Ruiz, The 4 Agreements.
Love it. I still have it.
So thank you for being with us today. I'm Beth.
I'm Jennifer.
And this has been 2 in the Closet. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. Come join us in the closet next week. All right. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Come on in, there's always room. Pull up a adjust your mood. We're talking life.